All right, everyone. Welcome to our series at IB Professional School, where we are going to talk about few topics which are very important topics in Tableau. I will give a short introduction about myself. My name is Ishani Agrawal. I have been the director and trainer at IB for about 13 years. My specialization in IB is related to descriptive analytics, where I work on Excel, on automation of Excel using VBA, on visualization tools like Tableau and Power BI. Not only I've been training for, I've trained more than 10,000 folks till now, both on retail and in corporates, but I do a lot of consulting projects for the corporate houses where they hire for automation or setting up their Excel sheets, doing some, reporting work in Excel or helping them with the visualization, training their team for visualization and dashboarding. So here's my short introduction. I have my with me today Ruchita Saha, and Ruchita is aspiring data scientist. So, Ruchita, if you can give me a brief about your educational background.
Yes, ma'am. I have done my 12th in arts and I have also graduated from Shri Shikshatan in education and currently pursuing MA in psychology and
All
also
right,
doing data scientist course from IT.
right. And such a, it's very interesting to know your background, coming from such a diverse background where data is not of importance, to be honest, like not tools, it's not technology oriented, your what you're doing. And you have shown interest in data science, and you've shown interest in visualization. I think visualization is something that you are more focused on. I see your work and I see that you are getting inspired in visualization world. All right, so today, Ruchita, we picked up a topic of calculations in Tableau, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
what this is all about? See, when we get a table, when we get a data set from any source, there may be a lot of columns with a lot of values inside it. And what we try to do in visualization or using Tableau is get some insight, create some dashboards, and help my end user to get some output from those dashboards. Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
right. Now, do you think that the data that is there would be sufficient to get all different kind of insights?
Not really. No.
Not really, right? So, for
Yeah.
example, very common data sets that's used in Tableau or any other visualization tool, the Superstore data set, right? Easily available to everyone online. So just
Yes.
to talk about this data set, I've got certain rows. I've got the order ID, that is the ID of when you place an order at some place. It's like kind of a bill number, invoice number, and when you placed it, when was it shipped out, how it was shipped, what's your ID, name, which segment you ordered it from, what is the city, state, country, which region the person belongs from, and details about the product that you have ordered, right? Now, when I have this kind of information, few things will come into my mind. Okay, let me find out. I have region, so let me find out what is regional sales, right? Which region is doing good. I might be able to understand, okay, let me find out category wise profit.
Category
And
wise
again, we will be
profit.
thinking in the same direction. Okay, who did the best? Who had the highest profit? Who had the lowest profit? Or I wanted to analyze discounts as per the subcategories, right? So these are the common questions. Then we can easily answer through this visualization tool. But where do these calculations or something that we call as data transformation come into picture? Is I want to go deeper than what is obvious in the data. So these things are pretty obvious that anybody would be curious to do a summarization on these four columns against certain things like subcategory or dimension or country, things like that, right? Very, very common thing.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
we do data transformation so that we can get better insight into our data. And when we do better insight into the data, we'll get better insights, much, much interesting insights than what our usual data can do, and generate reports definitely for our N plus funds. And third thing is we are able to take some good decisions for the business. Okay. So, Ruchita, can you think of any question that we can answer in this data set, which is not like we said, some things are obvious. Yes, I can do a total sales, total profit, average discount. Those things are very common. But what else can I find from that data that will help me in business?
Maybe the percentage of sales and all.
Percentage of sales,
Percentage
right?
of sales and
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what I've done is I've put some questions over here that I felt, this could be beyond what I already know. And when I know these kind of questions, I have a better hold on my data set.
Okay.
So before I get into these questions, in Tableau, there are two type of calculations that we focus on. What are the two type of calculation? One is our calculated field and one is our table calculations, right? Now, both of them, if you are a user of Excel, you would, you will be able to understand these two calculations very easily because the same calculation exists when we are doing pivot tables in Excel. So if you go back, to your Excel workbook and you see that, yes, there was something called calculated field in pivot and there was something called show value as in pivot table. So just to make a quick distinction between what a calculated field does for us and what a table calculation does for us. So if I have Tableau workbook, I'm just going to open a new workbook altogether. And I'm going to pick the same data source as Superstore data set. It's an Excel file. So when I connect, I'm going to pick up Microsoft Excel, Superstore data. And we're going to reach the first screen of Tableau. And over here, I'm going to work with only one table today. So all the three tables that were there in my Excel sheet are available. So I'm just going to pull orders over here and get the data of orders, right? This is the data source, right? In which we can, do some calculations. Then we go to sheet 1 where we do our graphs and charts and make our visualizations. So the table calculations that I'm talking about and the calculated field, we can apply in this sheet. How do we use calculated field? We are going to click on this drop down. We go to create calculate. And over here, we can give the name of the field that we want to create. We are going to give the formula by which we are going to create and we can click OK. On the right hand side, you guys will see that there are a lot of functions. Again, a lot of functions which are similar to Excel, you will find over here. So we can, click on any function, understand how they are written and utilize there for creating a calculated field. But do you know what is the difference between calculated field and a table calculation? Like when would I use a calculated field versus when would I use a table calculation? That's okay. I'll explain it to you. See, so the two things that we are doing, calculated field, right? Number one, what is calculated field doing for us? Calculated field is doing calculation for us on row basis, right? So when I say row basis, it means I already have these columns and I'm going to create a new column in this database. I'm going to add on a new column in the database. And for each and every value of the row, a value will be calculated. So it's got a row context to it. And what we are doing in our database, we're adding on new fields. And then this new field I can pull again in my visualization, right? So that's calculated field. Now, when you talk about table calculations, what are those? Those are the ones in which we are working on the visual. Example, if I have subcategory wise profit. So now if I want to do a calculation on the fields of the visual, then I do a table calculation. So I'm not creating any new column in my database. I'm not doing it on the row basis, but I am doing it based on the visualization and what are the fields in the visualization. Right. So those are the two, that's the main distinction between calculated field and table calculation. Okay. Now let's go to the question number 1. I'm going to get rid of subcategory and sum of profit. So the first question that we have over here is, what is the growth of various subcategories over 4 years? Very important, right? So if I want to understand that whether, yes, I should continue with the same subcategory for my business, do I need to add some subcategories which will give me more profitability or growth is there, or identify what I should remove from it? So this is an important question. How do we answer that? So for the growth of subcategory over 4 years, what are the fields do you think I need over here?
Definitely subcategory field.
Yes.
And the date field.
Okay.
Like date in year.
Right.
And
sales.
Right.
Sales. And we'll pick up sales. So let me pick that in Tableau. I'll have the subcategory. I'll have the sales value, and I'll have the order date. And thankfully, you know what Excel does, it does it aggregation based on year. So I've got my yearly subcategory. Yes. Now over here, when I want to do this growth calculation, ideally what I'm doing, I'm going to go to accessories and I'll say, okay, whatever was the value in 2021 minus the value in 2011, and 2012 minus 2011, and then divide by 2011, right? Yeah. And that's how I'm going to calculate the growth. So essentially, where am I working? I'm working in these value only. I don't want to create a new column. I don't want to create a new data set. So this is a table calculation, correct? Yeah. So how do we do it? We are going to go to sum of sales. And at the bottom, you will see something called a quick table calculation. Now, there are various type of calculations that we can do, like running total, difference, percentage of total, rank, moving averages, compound growth, year-on-year growth. So which one do you think would be more suitable to answer our question?
Percentage difference.
Percentage difference or
percentage of total. Percentage of total would probably give me the total distribution. But if I want to find growth, I want to have year-on-year growth, right? Year-on-year, how it has changed. So we will actually, luckily, you know, unlike in Excel, we had to do a percentage difference and define everything. I don't have to do that in Tableau. I can easily work with year-on-year growth. So this will only be active when you have some year or a date data type over field over here. Otherwise, it doesn't get activated. So if I click on year-on-year growth, see, I've got a beautiful table, which gives me a very good understanding of accessories, how they have grown over a period of time. So I've seen this is decreasing. There was a negative and dull period for appliances, but it picked up very nicely in 2014. So we can understand our data very nicely over here. Now, if I put a line graph for so many things, probably it would not look nice. So yeah, definitely we can use, let's say, if I use a quick highlight tables where I'm getting that orange is the one which are orange is negative, and the one which is dark blue is positive. So what gets highlighted? I know appliances dipped in 2013, machines dipped in 2013, but they both picked very well in 2014. So nothing to worry about. So when I look at this, there is no subcategory which is alarming except for probably phones, which had minus 8.9 in 2014, and paper and tables, which have been negative in the 2014, the last year data that we have. Yeah. Right. Others are doing okay. They are still growing, maybe a little less, but they are growing. Right. So we get a good understanding of our, how the sales is going. Now we can make business decisions based on that. Is this clear? Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let's move on to the next one. It says, which category in each segment is yielding more profit for me?
Yeah, so category, segment, and profit.
So I need category, segment, and profit. So I'm going to open a new sheet. I'll need a category. I need my segment, and I need my profit. Now, one thing is, see, my data set is very small, my table is small, so I can easily look at the numbers and say, okay, this is higher, and this is higher, right? But ideally, that should not be the way to figure out that which is giving me more profit. So what do you think we should do?
Okay, so we need to do table calculations only.
Yes, and we will pick this time the percentage of total. Now, when we pick percentage of total by looking at the percentages, it makes it very clear to us. And if we are able to apply the right visualization, it becomes even crystal clear. Now, when you do percentage of total, there is a small thing that we have to be really careful. I went to edit the calculation. When you're doing percentage of total, there are various computing methods that are there. I am doing table across. Table across means, I'll just highlight this. Table across means I am finding percentage of total of the row. If I do table down, this will be percentage of column. And if I do it on table, it will be percentage of the grand total or the total. So the one that we are looking for is, we are in the segment, we wanted category. So ideally we should have done table down, right? Because in segment, if you visit our question again, it says which category in each segment is yielding more profit. So I want segment wise distribution. So in consumer segment, furniture, office supply, technology, which one is giving me more? So it is going to be a table down calculation. Okay. And again, like I said, if I use the right visualization, it helps me to do my work a little faster. So if I do something like this, where I've created a 100% stack chart, and I put the label on the top, which helps me to find the percentage. It is giving me a very good understanding that irrespective of the segments, whether it's consumer or corporate or home offices, pretty much the technology category is doing well for us in all the three. And they're very close also, right? Whether it's technology or it's home office or it's furniture or it's home office supplies, all are very close in each segment. They're equally performing well. Right. Let's go to the next one. It says monthly fluctuations in the sales in the various years. Now, why this is important, I want to understand, are there certain months in which my sales drop a lot, or it is like a consistent sales I'm getting, or is there a spike in a sale in a certain months? But I would like to see this trend over a period of time, like in each year, is there a trend that is following or not? Right.
So it helps us to understand the demand.
Exactly. To understand the demand, if we know there is a spike in certain months, we should make sure our inventories are there properly. If we know there is a dip in certain months, then we should come up with a marketing scheme of discounts and, have it a better sales but during that time. So if I want to do monthly fluctuations in sales in various years, what should I do? I need my order date.
Yeah.
And I'm going to break this order date further into quarters and then further into months and remove my quarter because all I'm interested in year and month. I would also like to put year in the, I'll put months in the row, okay, to get this kind of work. And then I want to pick up sales value. So over here, I'm getting what is the sales. Now I see it's 23,000, 36, 33, 30, 47. But when we look at like this, it is kind of very difficult to remember which month was on the top, what was the value, how much is the change. So what again I want to do, I want to give a percentage over here. So again, this is the calculation, quick table calculation. And what we can do?
Percentage of total.
Percentage of total will give me contribution, right? But I want to see the difference from previous month. Correct?
Yeah.
So I'll go to the previous month and over here, I will again go to edit table. I don't want to do across, like I'm not finding percentage from here. I'm finding percentage like this, right? And relative to what? I'm doing relative to previous. So my Feb sales is being compared to Jan, March is compared to Feb, and so on and so forth. Now, when I look at this, I saw except for 2011, all the next 3 years had a dip in sales from January to Feb, right? So over here also, April also is something that 3 years shows there's a dip. Then there's a nice spike in the sales in May. And again, this is only one, and that is also 1.7 in June. This is again an alarming thing.
Yeah.
July is throughout a -1. And again, we get a spike. So you see, once we do these kind of transformation to the data, it gives a very different understanding of the data rather than just doing the typical calculation that I think anyone can do, right? So as an analyst, we always have to keep an eye out on doing these kind of calculations for us. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The next one says, I want to do the running total of sales in each year. Okay. Why running totals are important? Because sometimes we have targets that have been given for a given year, and we want to see, okay, what is a typical month that we are able to reach our target, or what have been the running totals in the various years, so that we, if we have to increase our target or decrease a target, we can do so. So for running
What
total,
is the difference between running total and just total?
so running total is basically kind of a cumulative. So if I am seeing a running total in a year,
Yeah.
so running total in Feb will be the value of Jan plus Feb.
Okay.
March would be Jan, Feb plus
February.
March. So
Okay.
let's say if I have given a quarterly target to my team that, okay, the revenue has to be 3 lakhs. So they are able to get a very good idea that how much they've already got and how much they have to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it really helps you to answer that question. So for running total, again, I'm going to pick up my order date and I'm going to break it up further into quarter and month like last time and get rid of the quarter. And then I'm going to put sales value and I'm moving again my month over here, right? So once I've got this, I can do it in this format. I may also have year in the row format. So let me just put it in a different format than last time. And there's another concept in Tableau, which is called table, and one is called pane. So what is a table? Table is this entire thing is called a table. And pane is like a group in between the entire table. So there's a 2011, there's 2012, there's 2013. So these are the individual panes inside the table. Now, when we do running total, again, going back to quick table calculations, we can do our running total. When we do that, what it is doing, so if you can see 23, 59, 93, 123, 117, so it's increasing. So that's what running totals are. But after December, we see that it has again increased in January, right?
Yeah.
But running total, it's not that I have a target of like 3 years and I'm looking at it, right? So typically it's like a 1 year thing.
1 year, yeah.
And I don't want December and January to talk to each other. Like they should not be adding up together. So in this case, again, we will go back and we will edit the calculation. And over here, what do you think I should do?
Pane down.
I have to do pane down. Exactly. When I do pane down and you see the calculation, it has just run the running total till this part. And when I come out, now it is again starting from January. Okay. Then we have, let me pick up the next question. Then we have something called, I want to rank my subcategory based on the quantity. And then I want to compare the profits. So what I'm trying to do over here, I'll tell you, like sometimes when things are selling a lot, let's say one particular subcategory is selling a lot, then we get very happy. Oh my God, we are sold this much, we are sold thousands pieces of this thing. But at the end of the day, what matters to business is how much profit did I get from it? Did I get profit or not? Because a lot of time, a lot of time businesses are busy giving discounts. They give a lot of discount and then they look at the sales and like, oh, we gave this much discount and we had like 5 lakhs of sales in a month. But the point is, did that discount get you any profits or not? Right. So what I'm trying to find out over here, okay, let's see how the quantities were sold. And I would like to rank them, like which subcategory had the highest one, then the lowest, and below that. And then I want to compare it against my profits. Did it give me like, did my top rank or my 10th rank probably gave me the same profit, or how did it work?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the intention of this question. So if I go back, I would want my subcategories and I want my quantity, but I don't want to see this quantity. It's going to be very difficult to retain, which is highest, which is lowest. And when I what do you say? When I'm going to put profit also, if I sort with profit, I will lose my sorting of quantity. And again, I lose my track of which one was highest and lowest. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a table calculation. And in this, there's a calculation of rank. Now in rank, you can do both. You can do ascending to descending, you can do descending to ascending, both. So I will just click on rank. It has quickly done 7, 16, 11, 2, 13, 1, and so on and so forth. And by default, let's go and check. I am doing edit, and you see it has done by default descending order. So means the one which is chairs has the highest quantity sold, followed by binders, followed by storages, and so on and so forth. Okay, now let's also bring profit into the picture and just see. I'm going to pick profit and I'm going to sort the profit.
Okay.
So, like we said, not necessarily the quantity translate to profits, right? So we see that something which is 13th rank and 12th rank is getting me much higher profit than what a first, and look at where the second rank is. So think about like binders is a small price tag, like a not expensive thing. So binders, obviously I can sell in huge quantity, but does that translate into the larger profits? No, it does not. So using the rank function, and then I sorted the profit column, I got a good understanding of, okay, even the quantity sold in a certain subcategory is more, but even with the lesser quantity sold, I'm making more profits in copies and bookcases. So that's not a point of worry if I see quantity wise. All right. Now I have done enough working around table calculations. So now let's try to do something with the calculated field.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes.
So in the table calculation, there was an option of YTD or something. So what is that?
So YTD basically is year to date. Now you saw that it was always grayed out when we picked it up, because year to date would be current year.
Yeah.
So in 2021, if I have to do YTD, that would be 1st of January of 2021 till today's date.
Oh, okay.
Since I do not have the current data over here, I have the YTD as grayed out throughout. Okay, so that will be there if we have the latest data, like current data is there on which we are doing the calculations.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So another thing is, I've got 2 more questions, and I hope by these questions, it will be clear what are the various table calculations, how to use them. The next question is, I want to find what is the average discount to sales ratio for the various subcategories in different regions. What I want to understand from the business point of view in this question is, we are giving discounts because of which we are trying to improve the sales at the end of the day. Now, is there a pattern that I can see that all regions are behaving in same manner, or only few regions they are there where the discounts are more and which is affecting the sales or not? So that's the intention behind this question. So I would need discount to sales ratio. Now, do I have discount to sales ratio on my original data?
No.
I don't have it. Exactly. So I have a field called discount. I have a field called sales. I don't have a combination. So what do I need to do? This time I need to create a new field over here. So I'm going to create another sheet, going over here, calculated field, which is the second type of calculation. And I'm going to put discount to sales ratio. And when you come in this area, this is a place where you write the value. Now I'm going to use a simple function called IIF, which is basically your if function if you are a user of Excel, which helps you to have a logical test and see whether it's true or false. If it's true, it will return you a certain value. If it's false, it returns you another value. So what is the test I want to create? I want to make sure that the sales is not equal to 0, because if I divide discount value by 0, I'm going to generate error. Yeah, value divided by 0 is going to be an error. So that's why I want to put this logical test that if the sales is greater, not equal to 0, then I want to do discount divided by sales to get the ratio. Otherwise, I want to replace it with the 0. I don't want an error. I want discount divided by sales, whatever the value is. But if the sales is 0, then I want a 0 in the place of the ratio. We click OK. We've got discount to sales ratio under the measures. I'll go to the subcategory. I'll put discount, and I want my regions because I want to analyze this thing by the regions. Once I've done this, I can do the formatting if I want in terms of percentage and all. But let's quickly do this highlight table, and I'm going to swap the rows and columns. And once I do that, what is the observation? We will see
Labels in the South region does a good.
yes, labels in South are higher, discount to sales ratio is higher over here. In fact, entire of the South, if you see, it is having little different, North and Central are working identical in terms of sales, discount to sales ratio. Oceania is somewhere in between of Central, North and South is where the discounts are more. The discount divided by sales is yielding us higher ratios. Right? So again, understanding on basis of region, plus you can also have an understanding of the subcategories. If you look, the labels are darker in color, the binders are darker in color. So over here we have more discounts, and probably that's it. Another thing that we can tie back, the binders are being sold in high quantity, but remember we're not getting more profits over there. Probably that might be the reason for it, that we are giving discounts and we are selling, so the quantity is higher, but at the end of the day we are not making profits out of it, right? So if we put all these things together in a dashboard, again, beautiful results we get out of it. Okay, let's do the last one. And now we want to talk about, when I place an order, I want to, let's say, think from a logistic team point of view of a company, that when a customer is placing order, how much time am I taking to ship that order out based on each subcategory? Because I have tables, I have chairs, I have bigger things, I have smaller things like binders and labels. So how much time does it take? An average time, how much time is it taking from the time I'm getting the orders to the time I'm shipping the orders? Okay. So again, I have my order date, I have my ship date, but I don't have anything called shipping time. So I don't have that thing. So again, what we need to do over here?
We need to create a calculated field.
Exactly. We'll create a calculated field, and this time I'm going to use the calculated field of, I'm going to name it as shipping date, and I'm going to make it as ship date, which is going to be the latter date minus the order date. So this will give me the number of days. When you subtract the two dates, then I get a output as days, right? And if I just do this, I get my shipping. I should have said shipping time instead of date. Hold on. Shipping time. And okay. And I want my subcategories and I want shipping time. So is this looking what we wanted? Is this looking correct? No, right? It's too large. I can't take 1413 days. Yeah, right. Why is it happening? Because it's doing by default a sum. So I would like to convert this into an average. So I'll go to measures, I'll do an average, and there you go. Right. So again, if I have to look at the data and understand, irrespective of what subcategory it is, I am taking an average of 4 days from order to ship. So if we are looking at, kind of giving an offer to our customers that, like how Amazon has, right? That I can ship it a little faster to you. This is what regular time is, but if you want faster, you pay extra, and I can do. So if I'm trying to see that, but I'm seeing only 4 days as my average time, then I have to think on my logistics side. Probably the manpower is less, or the systems are such that I'm not getting information on time of packing and shipping, or the logistic partners that I have fewer number of them that they are able to ship them on time. So those kind of questions, again, internally business has to take care. And then if we want to bring down our shipping time on any of the subcategory or all, we have to work on the business side of it. Okay. So any questions you have, Ruchita?
No, ma'am. I really enjoyed the session. Yeah.
That is nice. So
it's a good way to understand, actually. it becomes very
Yes.
easy to understand when we do such calculations correctly. Yeah.
Correct. I think until unless we don't have a use case for what we are learning technically, it becomes difficult to, okay, I've understood what it is, I know how to use it,
Yeah.
but where do I use it?
Yeah.
Right? So important. So I like the fact that you enjoyed this thing, and thank you for joining me. And I, if you have any questions, you know how to reach out to me.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Ruchita. Thank you.
Thank
Take
you, ma'am.
care.
Thank you, ma'am, for such a beautiful
Thanks.
session. Thank you.